Alright, peace be upon you, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? Now, in today's video, I just want to speak about the concept of this Sunnah of Muhammad, which, of course, us Quran aloners, we know that the whole idea of a Sunnah of Muhammad, or a way or practice, Hadith of Muhammad, this doesn't exist in the Quran one bit. There's only one Sunnah, which is the Sunnatullah, which does not change. And also the Sunnat al-Awwaleen, if I'm not mistaken, if that's what it is in Arabic, the practice of the former peoples, which were destroyed by God for rejecting the messenger and rejecting the truth. And not, when I say rejecting the messenger, I'm not talking about rejecting Hadith. I'm talking about rejecting the message, which is the Quran. But regardless, this whole idea of the Sunnah of Muhammad, even if we just analyze it on its own merits, especially in the modern time, how ridiculous and silly it is. So my philosophy when dealing with scripture, the Quranic philosophy, is we take the understanding, the philosophy, the worldview, and we apply it to our time and our location and our station in life. So obviously there are many things that we have now that Muhammad didn't have in his society, at least as far as we know. We have cryptocurrencies, we have cars, at least automated cars. We're not riding around camels or horses. Who knows, maybe they had some kind of interesting technology, but overall there's a lot of things that we possess now which didn't exist during his time. And the beautiful thing about scripture and philosophy and worldviews is that you can take these concepts and apply them in any situation because they're timeless. So remembering God, doing good deeds, being honest in your business dealings, the philosophy and worldview, it can be translated to anybody's situation, from the modern times to ancient times, from high technology to relatively low technology, to village lifestyle to city lifestyle, to rich and poor. That's my mentality with scripture. It's, I'm going to take this philosophy and apply it in my situation. That's what I'm really interested in. But this whole idea of a Sunnah of Muhammad, which the Hadith and Sunni so-called Muslim is obsessed with, he's not necessarily interested in that. He's not interested in taking the philosophy of a scripture and applying it to his own situation, but rather he wants to literally copycat everything he thinks Muhammad did. So Muhammad, when he did the ritual salah, which again we can debate on the meaning of, whether it's a ritual salah, whether that exists, whether that doesn't, if salah means ritual prayer, which I don't think it means ritual prayer, but anyways, everything that Muhammad did, I want to do. So, like, he sat in a certain way during the ritual salah, so I want to sit in a certain way during the ritual salah. He trimmed his beard in a certain way, so I want to trim my beard in a certain way. When he broke his fast, he broke it with dates, allegedly, so I want to break it with dates. And this is all according to their spurious hadith, which we know is more than debatable regarding the authenticity of these statements. Did Muhammad really say these things or not? But either way, that's what they're about. Copying exactly what Muhammad did. Dressing like him, trimming their beard like him, and walking like him, styling their hair like him, whatever it is. That is what they call the Sunnah of Muhammad. And this concept is so foolish because, well, firstly, you're idolizing the messenger, again, which is what every single religion in the world does. They don't focus on the message which the wise man was bringing. They focus on the messenger. You're idolizing the messenger. Like, for me personally, I don't care how Muhammad dressed. I don't care how he trimmed his beard. That's of unimportance to me. That it's a non-issue. I care about what he was teaching, which is the message of God, fundamentally, the way of the Almighty. But regardless, even if we put that aside, the fact that they're idolizing the messenger, just how ridiculous it is to think that you could possibly copy the Sunnah of Muhammad, which doesn't even exist in the Quran. What about the way of life that modern Hadithans are living is anything even close to their conception of what Muhammad was like, allegedly 1400 years ago? Are they living in a traditional desert Arabian society? Are they engaging in the kinds of transactions and economy that society was? Did Muhammad have a car? Did he have a smartphone? Did he have an Instagram? Was he eating canola oil and seed oils? Was he sitting in a corporate office job in front of a computer for 8 hours a day? What in the world makes you think that you're following the Sunnah of Muhammad. You're living nothing like him. And I don't like to use these internet terms because they're so immature, but I have to use it because it's so perfect to describe the situation. You guys are literally LARPing. You're LARPing and cosplaying what you think Muhammad was like. I'm going to trim my beard and dress in this way. And it's a very selective thing. Like, I'm going to break my fast with dates because he allegedly broke his fast with dates. But are you really actually following the way of life that you think this man followed? No. So it's a self-defeating concept from the beginning. It's based on idolatry, and it's nowhere in the Quran, because what they've done is they've essentially taken Arab culture and they've crystallized it and made it a part of so-called Islam. Now we have to all look up to Arab culture. Muhammad spoke Arabic, so we all have to try to speak Arabic. Muhammad said all these terms in Arabic, so we have to try to say all these terms in Arabic. Muhammad dressed like an Arab, so we should all wear our shamals and dress like an Arab and feel less than, I should say, less than par if we don't reach that standard. Muhammad did this, I should do this. Muhammad prayed in a certain way, I did this certain way. It doesn't matter where you live, your geography, if it's practical even for you to dress in that way, or if it's practical of you to trim your beard in a certain way, because many people, they can't grow beards, right? All kinds of people in the Far East, the Han Chinese, they're just not a bearded people, right? So, like, you know, I have to grow my beard, this big long beard like Muhammad allegedly, supposedly had, even though I only have like a couple of strings on my face. And it's just like, what's the point of this? What's the point? You've taken Arab culture and you've put it on a pedestal, and that's why this religion is failing. If you look at the Quran, it's about the way of life. It's about, I should say, the word I'm looking for is the demeanor, the behavior, the understanding, the worldview, the philosophy, the spirit. We take the spirit and we apply it in our times. And that's the thing about philosophy that makes it so much greater and higher in terms of a discipline and scripture in general than these stupid, cheap religions that get built around them. Because they're built on timeless verities that you can apply in every situation. So, for example, I live in a time where there's cryptocurrencies, there's a lot of crypto scams, people are getting rugged. What's the word? What is it called? It's called crypto pump and dumps. Now, the Quran doesn't specifically address crypto pump and dumps because I don't think that existed during the time of the Messenger. But I can apply the philosophy and the wisdom of being honest in our business dealings, not scamming people, understanding that riba is not just interest, but rather it's all predatory financial contracts in general. And I can conclude from that hey, I shouldn't be crypto scamming people, or vice versa, or whatever it is, right? I can take these and apply them in any situation, but you don't get that with the Arab religion. And even still, their goal of copying what they think Muhammad was like 1400 years ago, they can't even achieve that, because ultimately they're not living anything even close to what the Messenger was living like. So it's a fallacious concept right from the outset. And my point is when you're focused on eternal, verifiable, and timeless principles, then which is what the Quran and any book from the ancient world that has withstood the test of time is focused on, timeless principles, not the culture and geography and way of a specific people of a specific time and area. When you're focused on eternal verities and principles, then your doctrine truly transcends history. It can be applied in any way, or in any time, in any period, because the doctrines which you are teaching, which the Quran is focusing on, not the Hadith, or the Hadithan, but the Quran itself, it's focusing on things that relate to the deepest level of the human soul and human experience, which we take with us wherever we go, wherever we live, in whatever time period we are in. But these religions, you talk about Sikhi, they dress in the way that they think Guru Nanak did, and then you talk about Muslims, they dress in the way that they think Muhammad did. All this stuff, it just fades into oblivion. It doesn't last because it has nothing to do with the human spirit and the human condition. It's just, again, you've taken, in the Catholic religion, they've taken Italian Roman culture and they've crystallized it and made it a part of their faith. The Hadithan has taken Arab culture and he's crystallized it and made it a part of his faith. The Sikhs have taken Punjabi culture and crystallized and made it a part of their faith. Hindus have taken their Indian culture and they've crystallized it and made it a part of their faith, and so on and so forth. And when you go to any one of these books, you see that they're not focused on that. those books would never have stirred the heart of millions of people in the first place if they were focused on such a small and narrow purview. No, they have a broad perspective, and that's why their messages have reached far. And I might be rambling on a little bit, but this stuff, it drives me up a wall when I think about this Sunnah of Muhammad. We need to be exactly the way we think Muhammad was. It just shows how reduced and atrophied their thinking is. They're not thinking of spiritual things. They're still thinking of the flesh and the show off and the boasting. And even God talks about those whose outward forms impress thee. You would think them as propped up pieces of dry wood, but inwardly they're full of evil. Jesus talks about this in the Gospels. Those who outwardly they look beautiful to you, but inwardly they're like sepulchres full of dead men's bones and all corruptions. This has been called out from the beginning. The look of piety, but inwardly being a ravening wolf. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's really all I got to say on the matter. I hope this talk was a blessing. And yeah, peace to you. Remember, deceit abounds, so keep your eyes wide open. Peace out.